Our soon-to-be graduates are very excited and ready to make their entrance. Please welcome the class of 2013.
Good evening, and welcome to the Melrose High School Class of 2013 Commencement Ceremony. My name is Danielle Taylor, and I will be your Mistress of Ceremonies for tonight. Before the evening concludes, I will bring before you various student and faculty speakers that demonstrate the talent and capability that is this graduating class. As we begin, the Class of 2013 recognizes the tragic events that have occurred across the country during this school year, and we request that you join us for a moment of silence to consider all those who have been affected and all those who have provided assistance and support. Please stand and join us now for a moment of silence. Thank you. Please remain standing for the singing of our national anthem by Sarah Reed, accompanied by the Melrose High School Band under the direction of Mr. Matthew Rapucci. The name of our first speaker is synonymous with leadership and dependability. For the past 3 years, she has proudly served as our class president and taken on the responsibility of engaging each and every one of us in the affairs of our class. She has helped make the class of 2013 one of the most financially well-off classes to pass through Melrose, and she knows it. I remember a fundraising effort during sophomore year when she looked at me and said, "No, seriously, Danielle, aren't I a great president?" I had to laugh, but I had to tell her, "Yes, Sarah. I have no doubt that her leadership skills and school spirit will only thrive as she joins the Boston College Class of 2017. Please join me in welcoming our class president, Sarah McGowan.
Faculty and staff, school and city officials, Mayor Dolan, distinguished guests, family, friends, and most important, my fellow graduates. Good evening and welcome to the graduation ceremony of the Melrose High School Class of 2013. As the president of your class, it is an honor to be here tonight graduating with all of you. It is not only a wonderful milestone we celebrate, but an amazing journey we've taken together and a bright future we've created that we should celebrate as well. But amidst all this talk of joy and celebration, I must admit, I found these past few weeks to be somewhat bittersweet, even sad at times. Wearing our Melrose uniforms for the last few times, having our last lunch in the cafeteria, and our last walk down these halls. I'm sure you get what I'm saying. And while our futures are certainly bright, I suspect I am the only one who is a little anxious, even scared about the future. Who will I room with? What will I study? Will I fit in? Do I have to do my own laundry? Well, I've heard it said that if you're ever too sad to look back on the past, and if you're too scared to look to the future, then look beside you, and there you will find your friends. I think that spells out pretty clearly why we are here. We'll receive our diplomas tonight and move on to what the future holds. But this ceremony is to remind us of the special bond we have as a class. The class of 2013 came together a bit differently than other classes that have walked the halls of MHS. For most of us, it began one sunny morning when we came together from our neighborhood elementary schools to consolidate at the BB school as a sixth grade class. While some of us were excited and others nervous, I recall an instant and special connection among us that seemed to last throughout our high school years. That's not surprising, as we are made up of many personable and easygoing individuals. You might say being a part of our class is like a pair of sweatpants, comfortable. I mean, technically we are, considering that's all we wore to school each day. We helped one another in the classroom, on the athletic field, and with life's day-to-day challenges. If Charlie Steele, who wore a 30-pound headdress, and Betty Ann Richardson, who painted her face red and white for multiple sporting events, aren't the epitome of class spirit and support, I don't know what is. Edmund Lee once said, "Surround yourself with those who see greatness within you, even when you don't see it yourself." As a class, that is what we did. We supported and rooted for one another, and the experiences we've had and the friendships we've formed have made our lives richer. While empathetic and supportive, we are a class of talented achievers and competitors too. No one picked up lessons in class more quickly than David Middleton. Well, except Alex Foley. Emily Heath put on a drama performance you would not want to miss, and Madeline Frasca orchestrated one of the largest talent shows Melrose has ever seen. It was amazing to listen to Evan Anderson perform a piece he wrote at the winter concert and see one of Christopher Bertoli's paintings displayed in the main lobby. Thanks to Betty and Allie's dance moves, our class won the pep rally dance-off 3 years in a row. No grade could contend with Betty's cat daddy. And not only was Matt Finicos one of the most intimidating wrestlers in the state, pinning opponents in 15 seconds and becoming a state champion, he was also the most outgoing guy at MHS when he stepped on stage and became Mr. Melrose. The football team saved their best for last when they defeated the Wakefield Warriors 28-15 on Thanksgiving morning. And how could we forget when the drama team made it to the state semifinals for the drama festival? And did I mention our girls' volleyball team becoming the first girls' team in Melrose history to win a state championship? In addition to being supportive and accomplished, you might say our class is lucky too, despite being the class of 13. We got our own building in 6th grade and a brand new school for 7th and 8th grades. We got to play on several brand new fields and a brand new auditorium. And who better to get a week's worth of time off for snow days and a gas leak in their senior year? Many of us have traveled out of the country more times already than our parents, from Portugal to Costa Rica, Spain, Germany, Italy, and Denmark. Yes, anyone could say the class of 2013 had some good fortune, but it wasn't luck that got us to where we are. As I look out into the crowd of graduates, I see the class of 2013 as the most motivating, outgoing, intelligent, persistent, diverse, and successful class to pass through MHS. As we celebrate our individual and collective experiences and accomplishments, we must also thank the people who helped us. First, I would like to thank the members of our student government. Thank you for all the hard work and time you have put into making these 4 years unforgettable for our class. Mr. Daly and Ms. Scott, thank you so much for making our high school experience as a class so special. Our success reflects your incredible efforts as advisors. To all the teachers at MHS, Melrose High School, thank you for the time you have invested in us and the support you offered. I would also want to thank the rest of the staff at Melrose High School, from the secretaries to our guidance department staff, cafeteria workers, coaches, and the hall monitors. On behalf of the class of 2013, I would also like to thank our parents and loved ones. The people who had to put up with us asking for $10 every week, running out of the house, never answering the question, when will you be back? And the classic, I forgot my uniform at home. Can you drop it off at school? And finally, I would like to thank our principals. Mr. Fogarty, we will never forget trying to hide from you in the morning so we didn't have to throw away our coffees, or hearing your voice throughout the halls. Keep it moving, people. Thank you, Mr. Savarino, for coming back our senior year, because you have always been there to help and support us with any challenge we take on. And finally, Ms. Farrell, thank you for serving as our principal senior year and providing us with leadership and stability. It is good to know we are leaving Melrose High School in good hands. We could not be more proud of you. As I sat in the RC on the last day of school with other seniors, a wise man came over to us and told us to get to class. We all quickly replied, but it's all over. And Mr. Fogarty said, no, it's just the beginning. So, class of 2013, take what you've learned throughout this journey at Melrose High School, always carry it with you, and remember the words of a very wise man. This was just the beginning, so keep it moving, people. Congratulations and good luck.
Whether we know it or not, there is one special group that we would not be able to stand here without. The school committee is and has been the backbone of this school and this graduating class. Here tonight on their behalf is the Vice Chair, Mr. Donald Constantine. He has served on the school committee since 2002 and has served in the capacity of school committee chair, school committee vice chair, and chair of various subcommittees. Please welcome Mr. Donald Constantine.
Thank you. I'm not really accustomed to hearing teachers applaud me so soundly, so I got to catch my breath here. I know no one here today came because remarks from the school committee are on the program, so I'm going to be brief. I also remember a few years back when I sat on this football field receiving my high school diploma from Melrose High. I don't remember anything of the Melrose School Committee's involvement in that ceremony. I also don't remember where my locker was in my senior year, and that's not because I went to high school during the 1970s. What I do remember, though, are the teachers that I had at Melrose High School and the impact they had on my growing up and becoming an adult when I left Melrose High School and pursued the rest of my life and dreams. I remember the algebra teacher who, in addition to teaching us algebra, when we would complain to him Friday afternoons for giving us a homework assignment to do over the weekend, would kindly reply to us, "If the weekend bothers you, wear a hat." I remember the physics teacher that, in addition to teaching us physics, taught us real-life history from his personal experience serving on a naval aircraft carrier in the Gulf of Tonkin during the Vietnam War. And I remember my English teacher who, when I would say a wise remark, would say, "You're very witty, Mr. Constantine, but the man who wrote Snowbound was wittier." I also still remember the lines from the Shakespeare soliloquy and the Robert Frost poems that he made me memorize. These teachers helped turn me into a person ready to go on with adult life, and I'm hoping that our students here graduating today, when they look back years from now on their high school experience, feel that they've had teachers that have had a similar impact and that have taught them more than what it takes to pass MCAST. I want to just say one final thing. I want to thank you, students, for what you do to make Melrose High School the great school that it is. And I want to thank your families for all that they have done, supporting you and supporting the Melrose public school systems through all the volunteerisms and the fundraising and the supporting you to do what you needed to do to be so successful. Good luck with your future, and congratulations, MHS class of 2013. Thank you.
hardworking, dedicated, and charismatic. All words that could be used to describe the class of 2013's valedictorian. Even as captain of the boys' varsity soccer team, president of the Spanish club, and an active member of the Melrose Alliance Against Violence Student Action Board, the National Honor Society, and countless activities outside of school, he has managed to maintain a perfect 5.0 grade point average. He plans to continue his education at one of the nation's finest institutions, the University of Chicago, where he will major in mathematics. It is my pleasure to introduce our valedictorian, David Mendelson.
As you can see, the sash doesn't like me very much. All right. Hello. As Yogi Berra once said, I just want to thank everyone who made this day necessary. I'd like to preface my speech by saying there are no ground rules. All I ask is that you try to stay awake, and if you fall asleep, please don't snore. Not only is it disruptive, but it's also really embarrassing. 4 years and 7 months ago, our high school career had not even started. Little did we know how quickly it would pass. 4 years ago, we sauntered into the Marcoux gym, fresh off the end of a 3-year middle school story, about to begin a 4-year high school saga. 4 years ago, we were still worrying about MCAS instead of our futures. But enough with all that math. I thought a lot about what type of speech I would give. I tried to write an inspirational speech, but I couldn't get inspired. I tried to write a speech thanking everyone who has helped us throughout our high school years, but I thought the band would play me off the stage. So finally, I decided I'd write a speech talking about what types of speech I could give, but then I ran out of types of speeches. After thinking long and hard about what a graduation speech is supposed to say, I came to the conclusion that it should involve things I have learned. After all, it is a speech about school. I'm going to share with you 6 lessons I have learned during high school. Parents and teachers, I'm probably just repeating what you guys have been saying for years. And kids, I know you're not listening anyway. But here we have it, a high schooler's guide to the galaxy. I was going to write my first lesson about the Melrose High School fight song, but I'm not sure I ever actually learned the lyrics. I think it went something like, "Hey, I just met you, and this is crazy." Second, dance like no one is watching, even if all of your friends are around. Just make sure you don't hit them with the uncoordinated flailing of your arms and legs. If they still claimed you as a friend while you were whipping more than just your hair back and forth, they definitely won't after you cat daddy them in the face. Third, read Dr. Seuss books. They're easier to understand than Shakespeare, and they have a much happier ending than Zaytoon. I'm pretty sure Sam I Am ended up fine despite trying what was some clearly rotten breakfast food. Fourth, you're never the smartest person in the room, but you certainly are smarter than anyone on Jersey Shore. And if you don't know what Jersey Shore is, well, you might just be the smartest person in the room. Fifth, family, friends, and faculty do everything for you, so thank you. I mean, without them, I would have no 5th lesson to tell everyone, as well as a severe lack of alliteration. And for my final lesson, I give you something which everyone here at MHS has definitely learned in the past few months. The last thing I learned in high school is construction is really, really loud. Having written those lessons, I felt as if my speech were incomplete. It did not have everything a graduation speech is supposed to have. I decided I was missing one thing: cliché sentimentality. If you're an easy crier, I suggest you get the tissues now, so you aren't fumbling for them soon. Mom, that means you. I now give you the secret bonus lesson. It's sort of a, but wait, there's more type of thing, except this time, I'm not doubling the offer and you don't have to pay for shipping and handling. Amidst everything we have accomplished, class of 2013, with our outstanding athletes, dedicated scholars, talented musicians, amazing artists, and community activists, one thing binds us all together. We have succeeded, and we will continue to succeed as long as we learn this one lesson as individuals and as a community. This lesson is about love. I'm serious, get some tissues. With everything that has happened recently, there is only one thing that I have been able to count on. With the bombings in Boston, Hurricane Sandy's destruction in New Jersey, the shootings at Newtown, and the tornado in Oklahoma, only one thing has helped the victims persevere: love. Love can give you power, and love can give you bravery. Love can renew trust, and love can forge new bonds. Love can create happiness, and love can destroy sadness. Love can drive out hate, and love can be passed on. So, class of 2013, I ask you to go out into the world with an open mind and an open heart, ready and willing to love. View the unknown and the different with love and trust, not hate and suspicion. Love is powerful, class of 2013, and it will always be there for you to give and to receive. Love, as 4 wise men once told us, love is all you need.
At this time, I would like to recognize the Scholarship Achievers. The top 10 students with the highest 4-year grade point average will be recognized in alphabetical order and will be wearing platinum tassels. As your name is read, please stand and remain standing. Brittany DiNicenzo. Ashley DiOrlando. Alexandra Foley. Jessica Horn. Sarah McDonald. David Mendelson. Betty Ann Richardson. Sarah Reed. Zeke Viner. Jamie Zajac. Congratulations to our Scholastic Achievers. Please be seated. At this time, I would like to introduce the assistant principals, Mr. Robert Savarino and Mr. Stephen Fogarty, to introduce the honor graduates.
In recognition of outstanding scholarship, gold tassels are worn by those graduates who have attained honor roll status 6 out of 8 possible times during the 11th and 12th grades in high school. Excellence is achieved by students who earned A's in every subject. As your name is read, please stand and remain standing. Brittany DiNicenzo. Ashley DiOrlando. Raquel Doucette. Alexandra Foley. Jessica Horn. Sarah McDonald. David Mendelson, Betty Ann Richardson. Congratulations to our students for achieving excellence. Please be seated. High honors is achieved by students who earned A's in every subject with the exception of 1B. As your name is read, please stand and remain standing. Richard Bradford, Michaela Conley, Casey McVicker, Amelia Reagan, Jamie Zajac. Congratulations to our high honor graduates. Please be seated. Mr. Fogarty.
Honors is achieved by students who earn B's or any combination of A's and B's in every subject. As your name is read, please stand and remain standing. Honors: Tricia Alves, Rehab by Youssef, Brooke Bell, Krista Bertoli, Lindsay Bright, Rachel Brown, Caroline Butts, Alexander Campbell, James Carson III, Caroline Casey, Timothy Colbaugh, Amanda Comito, Avery Cross, Sydney Doherty, Nicole Doucette, Catherine Dresky, Daniel Eichenberger, Evan Federico, Amanda Fountain, Julia Fountain, Madeline Frasca, Joseph Gilardi, Hannah Goulian, Alexander Galakos, Sarah Hatfield, Emerly Heath, Amy Howland, Carly Hutchinson, Rachel Johnson, Colin Joyle, Natalie Kendall, Shannon Laeth, Alexa Lucas, Mary Madigan, Lydia Mays, Kelly McElliott, Sarah McGowan, Cameron McGuire, Shane McKinley, Chloe Meck, Anna Morgan, Shannon Monroe, Dakota Peterson, Morgan Phipps, Lauren Parica, Matthew Primiano, Carolyn Reagan, Brian Reel, Sarah Reed, Charlotte Rogers, Amanda Rosa, Adine Sandal, Allison Schwartz, Charles Steele, Zeke Viner, Alyssa Warama, Kayla Weiland, Congratulations to all of our honors graduates. Please be seated.
We will now hear from the high school select chorus, who will be singing For Just a While.
Someday that we will reflect on this and see what a special time it was. For just a little while, we have joined our voices. For just a little while, we made a difference here. And I know that through it all, these are days we will recall. What a special time it was. For just a little while. Maybe someday, when we're all alone, maybe someday, out there on our own, we'll remember this time and we'll smile for just a little while. For just a little while, we have shared the music. For just a little while, we have shared a dream. But I know that in my heart, we will never be apart. What a special time it was. For just a little while. Maybe someday, when we're all alone, maybe someday, out there on our own, we'll remember this time and we'll smile for just a little while. For just a little while. For just a little while. What a special time it was.
For the past 13 years, our next speaker has served as the assistant principal here at Melrose. Her love and dedication to its students make her a pillar in the Melrose community. This year, when tasked with being our intern principal, she stepped up and delivered just as always until it was made official. Although we certainly would have enjoyed more time with her as our principal, the class of 2013 shares in this landmark day with her and is happy to be the first class she will graduate. Addressing us next, I am thrilled to welcome our principal, Miss Marianne Farrell.
I am honored to be here today as the principal of Melrose High School to share this special night with the class of 2013. I can remember like it was yesterday when the class of 2013 entered Melrose High School for the first time. I have watched you grow and mature over the past 4 years to become the young women and men that you are today. Together, we have weathered many changes in teachers, administrators, curriculum, and expectations. You were among the first to attend the new middle school, the first ones to play on the new athletic field, the first class to have a girls' state championship volleyball team. As a class, you have experienced room changes, noisy disruptions as a result of the science wing renovation. And though you will not be here to take classes in the new wing, your signatures adorn a panel of the blue board that will be mounted there for posterity. You are always the only class that I can remember that had so many days off in your senior year due to non-weather related activities. The class of 2013 has such a strong bond that none of these changes or disruptions has kept you from succeeding at whatever you set your mind to. When important issues faced our school, our community, and our nation, this class stepped up to support the cause. You have served as members of focus groups with faculty members as we examine ways to improve the educational experience for students at Melrose High School. You have raised awareness about bullying and domestic violence through school assemblies, even sending a member of your class to speak in Washington, D.C. A group of you built houses for those impacted by natural disasters, and you have raised money for those affected by the Boston Marathon bombings. Tonight is a night to celebrate all that you have accomplished, academically, athletically, and personally. But as we celebrate your achievements, let us take a moment to salute those who have supported you, as individuals and as a class, to help you succeed. To the parents, thank you for all the times that you came to drop off homework assignments, lunch money, or permission slips. Thank you for encouraging your children to push themselves and be the best that they could be. To the teachers, thank you for the well-planned lessons, your thoughtful advice, your heartfelt college recommendations. Thank you for all the after-school extra help sessions and for the many extracurricular activities that you attended. To the senior class advisors, Ms. Scott and Mr. Daly, thank you for the many hours of meetings and plannings and chaperoning that you have done to make the class events such a success. And most of all, thank you for your dedication and support that you have provided to the class of 2013 over the last 4 years. As you begin your next chapter in life, stay connected to your family and friends in Melrose. They will always be here to support you. Continue to work for the well-being of yourself and others. You will leave your mark on your community and the world, and continue to strive for success in all that you do. I believe Winston Churchill said it best when he said, "Continuous effort, not strength or intelligence, is the key to unlocking our potential." Congratulations, class of 2013.
She is hardworking and diligent, and for the past 4 years, this next speaker has served as my partner in troublemaking and my toughest competitor. Whether it was pure luck or the simple fact that our names are close alphabetically, I have sat next to this young lady in nearly 14 classes since freshman year. And because of that, I can say that today I am proud of my classmate and my friend. She is one of the top METCO scholars and in the top third of this graduating class. She more than deserves to stand here today. Giving our 2013 METCO Address, please welcome member of the Temple University class of 2017, Bianca St. Clair.
We meet here today to share a common ending. Whether METCO student or Melrose resident, Melrose High School has paved the way to our futures. Being a student here, it is evident that my race sets me apart, but my goals for academic and personal achievement are parallel to the culture instilled within this school. Not being challenged enough by the Catholic school system and aware of the flaws in the alternatives, my parents registered me for the METCO program at a young age. In 2001, I entered the Horace Mann Elementary School as a curious second grader being forced into a new environment. Initially, I was not excited about the change in my life. I had grown used to having so much within arm's reach. I was going to a school blocks away from my house, having soccer and swim practice both minutes away. I wasn't prepared, nor was I ready to give it all up. I had to transition to waking up at 5 a.m., to be on the bumpy school bus by 6:30 a.m. But after my first day, adjusting to new personalities, welcoming a new curriculum, and classroom setting, I made efforts to adapt to the new atmosphere. But let me make it clear, I do not possess an introverted personality. Not many truly understand what being a METCO student involves. Many Melrose students can attest to walking to school with classmates and having partners for projects who were easily accessible. As METCO students, we, however, did not have this experience. It is hard to explain that our days started 2 hours earlier and ended 2 hours later than everyone else. My teammates and coaches all had to put up with my annoying and constant complaining about travel on Route 93 after a long practice. I think everyone here can understand the traffic nightmare on Route 93 during rush hour. But the one small difference of where we live does not set us apart as students at Melrose High School. Now, I can admit we use our program as an advantage when it is convenient for us. We have all skipped out of the occasional after-school detentions using the "I can't miss the bus" excuse and have gotten few tardies dismissed because of the bus being late in the morning as an excuse. Yet, even though by the state of Massachusetts I'm identified as a resident of Boston, the town of Melrose has welcomed me with open arms for many years. Numerous families in Melrose have opened their doors to METCO students, and I have grown accustomed to Melrose's many attributes. For example, I am aware Petroni's on Melrose on Main Street has the best buffalo chicken calzone. Dunkin' Donuts is a madhouse in the morning. The employees of Shaw's grocery store are all Melrose High School students. Every student has worked or currently works for Campus Kids. Buses in Melrose never come on time, and walking to Oak Grove can be a death march. But for that, I'm grateful. Grateful to know our graduating class will forever leave a mark at Melrose High. We have so much to be proud of. Undefeated teams, winning Middlesex League championships in multiple sports, sending many to Ivy League schools, and creating many college-bound athletes. As one of the captains of indoor and outdoor track this year, I had the honor of leading our team to back-to-back undefeated seasons, giving us the distinction of being Middlesex League champions. I've spoken to students and athletes in Boston who are hindered by the difference in our experiences. And in a sense, I feel lucky. Lucky to know that I was fortunate to receive a placement in the METCO program. Because of the METCO program at Melrose High School, the limitless opportunities, and the encouragement and support I received, I am a graduating college-bound honor student who has committed to running Division I track and field at Temple University in the fall. METCO was created in hopes to expand educational opportunity and reduce racial segregation by increasing diversity in suburban public schools. On behalf of the METCO students in the class of 2013, I can proudly say we are products of a successful system. And for that, we would like to thank Ms. Ford for her guidance and persistence in counseling when the pressure of school and home life became unbearable. Now, all I can say is, wow, the day we have been so anxiously awaiting has finally arrived. To the class of 2013, we finally made it.
iPods and MP3 players have been strictly forbidden in most classrooms. But if you have ever had a class with our final speaker, you probably did not need one. Whether he uses his lap, a textbook, a desktop, or 2 pencils, he can and will make a beat anywhere. Among some of the sweetest guys in our class, he is also an important member of the Melrose High School band, orchestra, and chorus. This fall, he'll switch it up a little bit as he joins the University of Massachusetts Amherst class of 2017 as a student in their prestigious Eisenberg School of Management. Giving the farewell address to the class of 2013, please welcome Carlos Vivas.
Dear class of 2013, on this day, the inevitable truth is that we will graduate from high school. We have worked tirelessly and dedicated all of our time to this moment, but it has finally come, and it is well worth the wait. It all started only 4 years ago when we were all freshmen. Even though we were not much younger, we were all so very different from what we are today. By sophomore year, we were comfortable with navigating the hallways around the school, with the schedules we had to follow, and with the work we had to do. Junior year proved to be the most difficult year, but we all learned to adapt to challenging classes, competitive sports, and complex social conflicts. When senior year arrived, we finally understood what it truly meant to rule the school as we guided younger students through the same situations that we faced only a few years before. Before we can say the official farewell, we must be aware of what we're heading towards. Many of us will continue to focus on our academics as we attend various colleges. Some of us will fight bravely for our country in the military, and others will begin lives as productive members of the labor force. No matter what path we choose, there will be certain situations that cannot be prevented in life. At this time, I would like to offer one piece of advice that solves every single problem in life. Listen. No, the advice is to listen. As a musician, I can say that this is the one key that has helped me become the drummer that I am today. This skill, however, has also helped me to develop into the man that I am today. The act of listening and the inspiration of various artists have given me the lessons that each person will have to adapt to in order to live in our modern world. The first lesson: you want to know how to rhyme, you better learn how to add. It's mathematics. Unfortunately, whether you enjoy it or not, you will face mathematics in your life. It comes in many different forms, in the simplest of terms and the most complicated of equations. It helps to explain the reason why the universe exists and what day it is in the school week. Math is so omnipresent that some people do not even realize how they are using it. I can promise you that in the future, you will use mathematics no matter what path you follow in life. If you somehow do manage never to use mathematics in your life, I ask you to come find me and to tell me about it. When I ask you how long it's been since we last talked, you will start to estimate the time that has passed without even realizing it. If you do this, however, then you cannot talk about how you have never used mathematics again after high school, because you just did. The second lesson. Don't worry about a thing, because I'll be standing on the side when you check it out. Stevie Wonder. Zach. As we leave our beloved school behind, there will be moments in life when the stresses and pressures around us start to wear us down. We will be pushed to our very limits and think that we cannot endure these moments. By learning to survive these moments, however, we will become better people, physically, mentally, and emotionally. In these times of stress and pressures, we should remember to turn to a friend, because the truth is that there will always be someone that cares for us and can help us through these hard times. When we are at our lowest and our highest moments in life, we must not forget the people who have supported us. We must be thankful for each individual that encouraged us, because they helped us become who we are today. The third and most important lesson. Some people have everything, and other people don't. But everything don't mean a thing if you ain't the thing you want. Express yourself. At this time, each one of us is waiting patiently to receive our diploma. The fact that we are receiving our diplomas means that we are successful. We will continue to be successful in whatever it is we do, because we are original. We may be a united class, but it is the individual talents that we each possess that creates the united feelings of our class. In the class of 2013, we have an orchestral composer, a king of the white room, a future tennis entrepreneur, a singing guitarist who is on her way to selling out many concerts, a star quarterback, a makeup artist worthy of Hollywood's best horror films, a computer programmer, a skateboarding cinematographer, a pair of breakdancers. The list goes on. The great thing is how our many unique students are willing to come together for a common goal to make our class united, like that sweet senior barbecue we had a couple weeks back. Take it from me, a person who is not afraid, his Spider-Man sweatshirt with his red skinny jeans and his AC/DC hat, that originality not only helps show society who we are as individuals, but also represents the United Senior Class of 2013. There are many important lessons that help to inspire the way we live our lives, but I offer these 3 lessons from my own personal experience for you to see as you use fit. These 3 lessons are all derived from the simple advice to listen. Listen, not only to music, but also to the people in your hearts, the moments in your lives, and to what is happening in the world today. Class of 2013, although you may no longer be listening to me today, and I understand that, I ask now that you listen to this one last sentence. Farewell, class of 2013. Even if things get a bit too heavy, we'll all float on.
I would now like to reintroduce Principal Farrow for the diploma presentations.
At this time, I would like to introduce the valedictorian, class officers, and student speakers to come forward for their diplomas. David Shane Mendelson. Sarah Joanne McGowan. Alana Colombo. Andrew Ferguson Driscoll. Morgan Lee Phipps. Bianca Janae St. Fleur. Danielle Monique Taylor. Carlos Vivas. Now I'd like to introduce the class president and vice president, ask them to come to the podium to introduce the remainder of the graduates.
Abigail Mary Adams. Leonardo Gabriel Adow. Trisha Marie Alves. Alyssa Jan Canlis Amameta. Dean Charles, number 23, Anderson. 32, sorry. Evan Patrick Anderson. David Christopher Andrade. Quinette Asia. Dino Avdagij. Thomas James Balo. Ashley Elizabeth Baldwin. Rehab Bayusef. Kadria Anvarova Bayaramova. Quinn Donnelly Beeler. Brooke Elizabeth Bell. Jay Bennett. Gordon Marcus Bergeron. Edmund Joseph Birdie. Krista Marie Bertoli. Andrew John Bork. Yeah, Bork. Nicholas Boyadejan de Souza. Richard Edward Bradford. Brittany Ann Brannick. Congrats, Britt. Lindsay Marie Bright. Caroline Eve Brophy. Rachel Elizabeth Brown. Caroline Ann Butts. Jennifer Robin Kane. Nicholas Paul Campbell. Alexander Jules Campbell.
Yes, Alex.
Carol Estacio Camlis. Kevin Patrick Carmichael. Amy Nicole Carroll. James Andrew Carson III. Caroline Rose Casey. Jamal Sekic. Sharon Chang. Timothy Gilbert Koba. Amanda Lynn Comito. Michaela Ann Connolly. Alex Lee Cornacini. Thomas Mullane Corvey. Glenn Scott Cosbar. Michael Robert Cowles. Kyle Michael Crawford. Avery Evelyn Lacrosse. Oh, Cross, I'm so sorry. Joshua Dylan Kroll. Rebecca Lauren Cuniff. Joshua Joseph Cunningham. John Allen Davey. Brendan Keith Davies. Alicia Marie Domenico. Brittany Joyce D'Incenzo. Sydney Ann Doherty. John James Doherty Jr. Ashley Marie DiOrlando. Nicole Ann Doucette. Raquel Diane Doucette. Nacia Savavi Douglas. Olivia Ann Downey. Catherine Mary Dresky. Emmeline Duff. Sarah Dina Durand. Daniel Eichenberger. Adam Kenneth Elmore. Muhammad Awad Elsweezy. Julianne Eustace. What? John Charles Evans. Matthew Paul Fanicos. Amanda Delia Farrell. Evan Grant Federico. James Wilson Ferreira. Paul John Fiore. Alexandra Grace Foley. Amanda Catherine Fountain. Julia Noel Fountain. Gabrielle Gindi Fox. Raina Melody Frank. Madeline Elizabeth Frasca. Andrew Frederick. Alexandra Graciela Garcia. Joseph Nicholas Gilardi. Christina Marie Giordano. Thomas Tyler Galini. Zachary Alexander Goodwin. Scott Cameron Gorham. Hannah Christine Goulian. Alexandra Megan Grady. Sarah Ann Graham. Isaiah Lamont Grider. Daniel Joseph Griffin. Alexander Pierce Goulakos. Andrew Dawes Harding. Sarah Marie Hatfield. Emily Kathleen Heath. Jonathan Knight Heath. Mackenzie Lee Hines. Jessica Madeline Horn. Amy Faith Howland. Brenna Barnes Hurley. Carly Ann Hutchinson. Devin Rich High. Caitlin Elizabeth Igo. Samuel Emmanuel Juan Gillis. Juan Miguel Johnson. Rachel Joanne Johnson.
Colin Thomas Doyle. Max Jared Corellis. Dankin Dagwa Karaoke. Bridget April Karpenko. Emily Ann Keene. Joseph Patrick Kelly. Natalie Ann Kendall. Jason Scott Kenny. Lauren Nicole Kershaw. Makul Kumar Kesher. Sean Robert Kiernan. Shannon Renee Killalay. William Jan Kroll Sinclair. Wilson Yawen Kwong. Shannon Rose Leif. Andrea Marie Larson. Christina Lynn Lavina. Jonathan Paul Leonard. Tyler Justin Lind. Alexa Ray Lucas. Mark Anthony Luciano. Allison Catherine McKenzie. Mary Elizabeth Madigan. Joshua Michael Mahoney. Michael Thomas Marino. Brendan Carmen Mastropietro. Keanu Brannon Masuda. Lydia Elizabeth Mays. Patrick Hugh McCauley. Andrew James McCormick. Sarah Iris McDonald. Kelly Jean McGilligot. Alyssa Ann McFarland. Brandon Michael McGovern. Cameron James McGuire. Shane David McKinley. Alec Joseph McLaughlin. Casey Louise McVicker. What did he do? Chloe Elizabeth Meck. Jacqueline Rose Melito. Michelle Chloe Miranda. Anna Ruth Morgan. Nicholas Michael Michella. Shannon Lucio Monroe. Helio Paulo Neto. Ashley Marie Newman. Marjorie Nunes. Sean Walter O'Neill. Emmanuel Ortiz. Paul Anthony Paone. Sean Joseph Pellrine. Dakota Wiley Peterson. Liam Pieri. Michelle Pierre Gilles. Deslin Parati. Andrew Michael Pizzotti. Scott DeGentamaso Place. Lauren Ray Perica. Matthew Henry Primiano. Amelia Savannah Reagan. Carolyn Louise Reagan. Brian William Rio. Betty Ann Gaylord Landrigan Richardson. Sarah Briggs Reed. Charlotte Anna Rogers. Amanda Marie Rosa. Shane Michael Rosario. Peter Mate Roth. Jordan Charles Robbins. Sapna Sechar. John Patrick Sampson. Adine Sandal. Chantal Marie Saye. Jenny Rose Skaka. Allison Marie Schwartz. Bianca Marie Shememi. Kathleen Margaret Shamali Kriasha. Matthew Carter Sherlock. Jessica Bell Shortledge. Margaret Rose Simcoe. Jeremy John Smith. Joseph Francis Guazero. Joanna Catherine Stanton. Sean Patrick Stanton. Thomas Christopher Stanton. Charles Simeon Steele. Jessica Grace Sullivan. Timothy Andrew Sutton.
All right, Timmy.
Gabrielle Victoria Simmons.
Yeah, Gabs.
Ashley Monet Tippett. How do you say that?
Say try Trumi.
Tremmy?
No, you're Trumi.
Nohyla Tremmy. Connor William Trider. Zeke Schoen Viner. Alicia Renee Valdez. Timothy Michael Valentino. Sarah Vicari. Joseph Tyler Ventry.
All right, Joey.
Georgia Vajkovic. Alyssa Ruth Warama. Shannon Lee Wallace. Janier Vernay Ward. Kayla Nicole Wheeler. Kayla Ann Wyland. Jamie Jean Zajac. It says wait until Oh, okay. This completes the presentation of diplomas. Would the class of 2013 please stand? You may now move your tassels. I would ask the audience to remain seated during the recessional music and until the ceremony is formally concluded by Mayor Robert Dolan. Thank you.
Class of 2013, congratulations. You are now graduates of Melrose High School.